Have you ever wondered what unfolded in the wake of Pablo Escobar's demise? No, not about the afterlife, but the fate of his beloved wife, his cherished daughter, his son, his infamous cartel, and the vast fortune he amassed. It's curious how these threads seem lost in history, overlooked, or perhaps ignored. But for those who share our intrigue, prepare for a journey. Picture yourself embarking on an odyssey to Medellín, Colombia, to peel back the layers of mystery shrouding the aftermath of Pablo Escobar's death, the drug lord of unparalleled wealth. It was December 2nd, 1993. Colombia was in turmoil, a nation mobilized in the hunt for Escobar. This wasn't just a manhunt by the Colombian army. Imagine rival cartels, a band of ruthless mercenaries known as Los Pipis, and even his own kin, scouring the grimy underbelly of Medellín. Now, let's pause a moment. What I've just sketched for you is the tense, final chapter in Escobar's saga, perhaps the last 30 minutes of his life. Escobar, a man known for his stubborn pride, had been forced into hiding. The Colombian government, intent on transferring him to a standard prison, sparked his flight. But it wasn't just the government on his trail. A group of paramilitary forces, unafraid to mirror Escobar's own disregard for moral and legal boundaries, launched a relentless national pursuit. On his birthday, a day typically marked by celebration with his family, Escobar was isolated, desperate to hear his family's voices. In a fateful decision, he reached out to his son. That call, traced to a nearby cell tower, was his undoing. The government, zeroing in on his location, dispatched a convoy of armed soldiers with a chilling directive: capture or kill. As Escobar attempted a desperate escape across the rooftops, it was already too late. Soldiers swarmed the building. And there, Pablo Escobar, once the most feared drug lord, met his end, cornered like a fugitive alongside his loyal bodyguard, El Limón. The aftermath was a maelstrom of grief and chaos. Maria Victoria Henao, his wife, was devastated. The tragic irony was not lost on her. That single phone call had sealed his fate. With Escobar's death, he left behind not just the Medellín cartel and his ill-gotten wealth, but a family now adrift in a sea of danger and uncertainty. Interestingly, the eyes of the cartel members turned to Maria. She had been Escobar's partner in more ways than one, often helping to steer the cartel's operations. This positioned her as a potential successor. But was Maria equipped or even willing to step into those shoes? Maria Victoria Henao, once intertwined with the notorious Pablo Escobar, sought nothing but distance from the dark shadow of the cartel and its cocaine empire. With her children, Manuela and Juan Pablo, she fled, a desperate bid for asylum that took them across the globe. Mozambique, Brazil, Germany, each denied them sanctuary, unwilling to harbor the family of Escobar. Through some connections, they finally found a temporary haven in Argentina, entering as tourists. In this new land, anonymity was their shield. However, Maria's name, tied irrevocably to the Medellín cartel and Escobar, was a specter that loomed large in the news. The legacy of Escobar's reign, marked by the deaths of thousands, was a constant threat of retribution. Maria, acutely aware of the danger, made a decisive move. She transformed herself from Maria Victoria Henao to Maria Isabel Santos Caballero, a change that brought a semblance of peace for a few years, until 1999, when the Argentine government discovered her true identity. The year 2000 brought more turmoil. Maria and her son, now Juan Pablo, faced arrest on charges of money laundering. Imagine the weight of her plight. After enduring 17 years with Escobar, his betrayals, his narcissism, she was still bearing the brunt of his legacy. Though imprisoned for months, The Argentine authorities couldn't link her or her son to drug trafficking, leading to their release. Maria chose a life of seclusion in Argentina, a shadowy figure for 2 decades, until the release of her book, Mrs. Escobar, My Life with Pablo. In contrast, her son, Juan, now Sebastian, faced a relentless storm. He authored his own narrative, revealing the softer aspects of his father. But this did little to quell the suspicions and animosity of many Colombians. They speculated he might seek vengeance for his father's death, a notion he vehemently opposed. Sebastian condemned his father's actions, openly criticizing the Netflix series Narcos for glorifying Escobar's nefarious deeds. Now, consider the absurdity of anyone seeking revenge for Pablo Escobar. This was a man responsible for the deaths of over 4,000 Colombians, including the heinous murder of more than 40 young girls who dared to expose his cartel's vile crimes. Sebastian, sharing this repulsion, faced his own trials. In Argentina, he narrowly escaped multiple kidnapping attempts, spurred by a Forbes publication, claiming Escobar had left behind a fortune exceeding $3 billion. In the aftermath of Pablo Escobar's death, a striking reality emerged. All the immense wealth he had amassed was left behind in Colombia. His extravagant $10 billion mansion, the opulent self-designed prison La Catedral, and numerous other properties lay abandoned in Medellín. Escobar's approach to storing his wealth was unconventional, to say the least. He stuffed millions into furniture, buried it underground, and hid it in such obscure places that perhaps even he couldn't recall all the locations. This is the bizarre reality when you're the wealthiest drug lord on the planet. In his prime, Escobar was behind 80% of the cocaine in America. There's a legendary tale of him burning a staggering $2 million just to keep his daughter warm, a testament to the mind-boggling extent of his fortune. One of Escobar's notable residences, known as the Monaco building, was not a sprawling estate or a towering skyscraper. It was simply his home. After it was deserted, it became a target for rival cartels who demolished it with explosives. The Colombian government later transformed the remains of this 6-story building into a tourist attraction, a window into Escobar's life. But for the local community, it was a stark reminder of the lives lost to Escobar's reign of terror. In 2018, recognizing this painful legacy, the government demolished the building and repurposed the land into a memorial for Escobar's victims. Another of Escobar's luxurious properties was his getaway home in Guadalupe, named La Manuela after his daughter. This retreat was partially destroyed by over 200 kilos of TNT explosives set off by a rival cartel. Over time, nature and scavengers looking for hidden treasures ravaged what remained of the once grand building. But perhaps the most fascinating of Escobar's possessions was La Catedral, the lavish prison he constructed for himself, complete with a casino, spa, and football field. After Escobar's demise, this facility became a magnet for treasure hunters. Rumors of millions buried within and around the facility led to a frenzy of scavenging. Despite the intensive search, La Catedral eventually fell into abandonment, its once luxurious halls echoing with the ghosts of a bygone era. In an unexpected turn, La Catedral, the extravagant prison built by Escobar, found a new purpose under the stewardship of Benedictine monks. These monks transformed the notorious site into a sacred place of worship, also dedicating it as a memorial to honor the victims of Escobar's violent legacy. Now, let's address the lingering question. What became of the Medellín cartel? With the fall of its king and queen, the cartel crumbled. Many members were either captured and imprisoned or met their ends in brutal violence. Those who survived sought refuge with rival factions, such as the Cali cartel, which subsequently took over cocaine exportation from Colombia to the U.S. and beyond. Yet, not all of Escobar's fortune was lost or abandoned. Before his demise, he invested in the community, building schools, hospitals, and shelter homes in Medellín. This duality paints a paradoxical portrait of Escobar. On one side, he was revered as a benefactor, a hero to some. On the other, he was reviled as a merciless tyrant, the embodiment of evil in a guise of luxury. So, I pose a question to you, a thought to ponder. Can the actions of Pablo Escobar ever be justified? Is he the malevolent figure history portrays him to be, or is there more to his story? We're eager to hear your thoughts in the comments below. That concludes our tale for today. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the mystery sauce. Don't forget to follow us for more intriguing stories. And if you enjoyed this one, please leave a like. Thanks for tuning in.